So this is designed just to be a quick 30-minute review of our controllers. Again, what's new, what's obsolete. And then if you have any additional questions, we can stay after the 30 minutes and review some things, or we can get together later on, down the road. We can discuss, your additional questions and stuff like that. So if nobody has any other questions, hopefully everybody sees my screen up there. According to Scott, he already saw it, so we're going to move forward. I'm going to go. See, I have technical difficulties already. We're going to see if we get moving. There we go. Hey, just a quick update. If anybody's using our web shop, we've migrated over to a new platform. So if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. There's a lot of great information up there. If you don't know about it, get a hold of your account manager, and we can definitely get you interested in that. All right, Rockwell's portfolio. As we're looking at it, what you see on the screen is what Rockwell is actively promoting today. Obviously, the Micro 800 and the MicroLogix controller on the left of your screen is for small, simple type applications. And then you've got the Compact Logix and Control Logix for mid-size and large applications. And you're probably wondering why I still have MicroLogix on there. It's still a very viable product, even though we've had a lot of those products obsoleted. The 1400 is going to be moving, is not going anywhere. So let me go over a couple things here. Just for a review, in the MicroLogix product line, the 1000 and the 1500 are obsolete, and I think most of you on the screen know that. Obviously, the PLC5 is obsolete. Compact Logix L32E and the L35E, which was introduced back in early 2000, those went obsolete last year. That doesn't mean the rest of the 1769 platform is going anywhere. That is not the case. These are those original processors that had serial ports and had some limitations. The L32E and 35E did not have motion capabilities or safety. We also obsoleted the Compact Logix L43 and the L45, including the safety modules. Those Compact Logix went obsolete last year. Now, for planned obsolescence, I kind of talked about the MicroLogix 1000, 1500. The 1200 is going to obsolete in about 6 months from now in August. So from that point on, in the MicroLogix family, we will have the 1100 and 1400, which are really our two highest seller in the MicroLogix family to begin with. They both have Ethernet and they're very capable controllers. The MicroLogix 1400 is not designated for obsolescence until 2030. So if you're using the MicroLogix and you're happy with the MicroLogix, you're welcome to stay with the MicroLogix 1400. That is not going anywhere, okay? If you want a lower cost solution, then we can talk about the Micro 800 product line. It's a very capable controller. But if you're happy with the MicroLogix, you're happy with RSLogix 500, you can keep with the 1400. Again, it's going to be around for another 9 years, okay? So actively sold for 9 years. And just an FYI regarding the SLIC 500, we've had a lot of talk about it. Most customers are not buying SLIC 500 components anymore. They're buying it as pieces, parts, but no new systems. But the designated obsolescence date is somewhere in 2025. So you got 4 more years. Now, a couple of other products that actually are going obsolete is the 5069 Ethernet adapter. When it was first released, Rockwell had 2 Ethernet adapters. They had the AEN2TR and the AEN-TR. They both operated identically. They both can go up to 31 local I/O modules, but a lot of people kind of like the AEN2TR because it had a display on the front for the IP address. But because of the smaller one, the AENTR actually was a couple $100 less. Overall, the sales were not there for the bigger one. So Rockwell made a decision that at the end of this year, it is going obsolete. So not a big deal, especially if you have components out there. If something ever fails out there or gets damaged, the two are interchangeable. The biggest thing is it does not have that display on the front for the IP address. Okay, but I just want to make sure everybody knew that we're not discontinuing the product line or anything else. It just happens to be this particular Ethernet adapter is going obsolete. Any questions on that? Okay. One other thing I wanted to mention is in the SLC 500 family, there is some analog modules. The 4-channel analog modules are going obsolete in a few months. Not a big deal because we have the 8 channels available. But again, so a lot of those smaller I/O modules, channels and points per I/O modules are going obsolete. And again, it's just writing on the wall what's going to happen long term. Hey, Paul, you got a question? You may have to unmute yourself.
You're still on the NTR page.
Yes. That was intended.
I just started talking SLC 5. I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to finish up on the SLC before I went on to anything else. Okay. Now, just a review of the Micro 800 product line. There has been no new enhancement in the last year for hardware itself, but we've got the Micro 810 through the 870 with or without Ethernet, with or without motion type control like stepper control. Again, very capable controller. It is programmed by CCW, but if you're looking for very low cost implementation of like an OEM type machine, simple type machine, this will be about half of what a Micrologix 1400 would be. Okay, so a lot of people are migrating from the Micrologix into the Micro 800. But again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're happy with the 1400, you're welcome to stay with it. It's not going anywhere. Okay. One thing that was just released was the CCW software. And the biggest complaint that I've had with customers over the years, is the software. Yes, it's a little bit different, but some people said, yeah, it's a little bit slower, it's this or that. They made a major improvement on uploading and downloading your application and just designing and developing your ladder logic. It's a 30% improvement in speed. So if you're unhappy with it in the past, take a look at version 13. There's been some great enhancements to that. Now on to compact and control logics. Is what you see on the screen here is basically Rockwell's portfolio with our general purpose, high performance, and our high performance process type controllers, which are relatively new with the process, and I'll kind of explain that in a second. So first thing, the CompactLogix 5370 series. It's been around for a while, about 10 years. It is not going anywhere. I've got customers asking me, well, with this newer high-speed performance CompactLogix, what's happening with the 5370 series? It is not going anywhere. It's going to be around for a long time. Product's going to be developed right along with the 5380 series. There is some applications where the 5370 actually fits in a little bit better than 5380, but if you're happy with the 5370 series, continue using it, right? It is not going anywhere. With this platform, again, we got the L1 series, which is the L16, 18, 19, etc. And then we got the L2, the L24, and the L27. Then we have the L3 series, which is 30, 33, 36, etc. We get a with or without motion, different options, etc. Okay. But again, the platform is not going anywhere. So again, feel free to use it if you like. Okay. Okay. All right, technical difficulties. I got like 3 monitors here at home. So the 5380 series, this is our latest compact Logix platform. If you're not using it, take a look at it. It is 20 times faster, or up to 20 times faster than the 5370 series. It's got a lot of nice features. It utilizes memory better. It's a 1 gig Ethernet backplane. You can have safety in all the different levels of controller, from a 600K controller all the way up to a 10 meg controller. A lot of different options. Okay, but it's been around for a couple years, and this is our go-to platform today for most applications, especially for new designs. It is not very efficient, meaning cost-wise when you're dealing with AC. So that's where, if you're retrofitting something, maybe the 5370 is a better platform, because it has a lot of the AC modules. But the 5380 is suited around DC and all DC type applications. It has AC modules, but if you're putting in 15, 20 AC modules on this, it's not cost competitive compared to the 5370. So one thing I wanted to make sure everybody knew with the 5380 controller is the safety controllers. With the 5370, we've had the safety controller in the L3 series. It's been a SIL 3 rated. But on the 5380, we now have a SIL 2 and a SIL 3 controller, which is really nice, because in the past, you always had to buy a SIL 3 controller, and if you didn't need that type of requirements, you're paying for more than what you really needed. Okay, so with the 5380, we have the SIL 2 controller, which you can get different variations. So here's just an additional screen on the SIL 2, so you can get it with or without motion, or a controller with or without safety. You have all these different options on this platform. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the L306 is a 600K processor. If I need safety, I'd add the S2 at the end of the part number. If I need safety and motion, it's MS2. And again, the adder, the cost adder, is minimal. It's a few $100s to get the safety adder onto these controllers. So it's really cost competitive to add safety in the 5380 platform. Okay. Now this one is SIL 2. If you wanted to go down and you need SIL 3 rated, we have that available also. The SIL 3 is motion only. Okay, does not come without motion, is what I mean. So you got an ERM or ERMS3 for the SIL 3. Okay. Again, different variations, amount of memory and amount of IP nodes available. So any questions on those safety controllers? Okay. Now, one thing that's definitely new in all of our Rockwell platforms for years, for those of you who have been around for 20, 30 years with Rockwell, we never had in-rack, main rack safety I/O. We always had to go out Ethernet to either point or another platform to get safety I/O. Well, with the 5380, we now have integrated safety I/O that's local to the main rack. And this was our first platform that had it. So it's been very cost competitive. So now you have the option to have safety I/O in your main rack, or safety I/O going out Ethernet to 5069 I/O or 1734 I/O or whatever other IO. It can mix and match. So this has been a very big seller within Rockwell, and and it's going to continue to evolve and offer more options in the future. As of right now, we have the digital in and digital out in the 5069. Okay.
Hey, Thad.
Yes.
John Whitaker has a question.
Yeah. Yes, John.
Do we need a special Ethernet communications adapter for this?
No. Any of our platforms, Point.io, 5069, their standard Ethernet adapter will handle safety. So your requirements is have a safety controller and then have obviously safety IO, but local rack or out Ethernet to another rack. But either one is fine. You do not need a special Ethernet adapter.
Okay, do we need any particular network architecture like device level ring?
No, that all depends on your SIL 2 or SIL 3 rating. But you can have it just like linear, like you have here, or you can have a DLR, you can have a star. That's up to your personal preference on the network.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. In addition to the 5380 safety controllers, we now offer what we call a 5480 controller. The 5480 controller is a controller with a separate Windows 10 operating system built in. Now, this has been around for a couple years, but when it was first released, our only option was the bottom option, which was 20 meg, 250 IP nodes, 150 motion axes. So that was a high-end type application, and for most of us, it was not cost competitive. Okay. So Rockwell came out with some additional catalog numbers based around the 3, 5, and 10 meg controllers. And now when you take this particular controller and compare it to a standard, 3 meg controller with motion, the adder to get the Windows is about $600. Okay, so very cost competitive to add a Windows 10 operating system with it. And again, a lot of different options. People have used it for FactoryTalk ME. People have used it for maybe a thin manager type client. There's a lot of different options, vision systems, but now it's available, very cost competitive when you're comparing it to 3, 5, and 10 meg controllers. So it's, again, another option. So I'm just making sure everybody knows that it's out there, and it's very cost competitive. Now, next thing that Rockwell's released in the last few months is a 5380 controller. That's basically, they call it a process controller. Part number is ERP. What it is identical controllers, everything else, but a lot of the stuff they use for the process industry, things are pre-installed. Add-on instructions are already in there. Just a lot of different things that are pre-configured and pre-done around the process industry. So it saves a lot of time when you're implementing a system with a plant PAX. Things are pre-installed, and I can go on with 20 different slides on this, but again, if you're in that industry or doing a job in that industry, take a look at these controllers. I can get you more information, but it can save you a lot of time to get things preloaded and ready to go just to get working. Okay. So again, that is available today. Just an overview on the 5069 IO that is available today. We have the standard IO that's from Rockwell. We have the safety IO, and we have a serial module. One thing that's not available yet today is anything from Encompass Partners. Unlike all the other platforms that Rockwell offers, 1769, 5069, 1734, etc., there's Encompass Partner modules that fit into those racks. Today, the 5069, there is no Encompass Partner modules, but I've talked to a couple of them. They're expecting the modules to be released sometimes toward the end of this year, probably right around Automation Fair. So at this point in time, nothing in the short term, a few months, but maybe in the 6-7 months time frame, we're going to have some additional modules. So I just want to give everybody a heads up because I get that question a lot from everybody. Now, any questions before we continue on with control logics with the compact logics I just spoke about?
I don't see that great or
Nope.
there.
All right, so in the control logics, we have the two platforms or two controllers available, the 5570 and the 5580. The 5570 obviously is the L71, 72, etc. The 5580 is the L81, 82, etc. Now, if anybody who hasn't used control logics in a long time, the 5580 is the first control logics processor to have a built-in Ethernet port. In the past, everything was 100% modular. So the controller like the L71, you bought the L71, then you had to buy an Ethernet card along with it. With the 5580, it has a built-in Ethernet card. So yes, the processor by itself might be a few $100s more than the comparable L7 processor, but when you don't have to buy a separate Ethernet card, it can be very big cost savings.